Welcome to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. On today's show, does LeBron deserve a pass for being tired after carrying the Cavs to their fourth straight finals? Plus, Ice Cube joins the show to talk Big Three, LeBron versus Jordan, and more. And Terrell Owens explains why he believes he can still be a difference maker in the NFL. We've got a packed show today. Skip, Shannon, let's get to it. LeBron played 44 minutes in Sunday's Game 2 loss and looked tired throughout the game. Even Chauncey Billups said on ABC that LeBron looked fatigued. Skip then tweeted, "Think about this. Chauncey Billups just said on ABC that LeBron looked a little tired. It's only Game 2 of the NBA Finals. I covered Michael Jordan when he was a year older than LeBron is now. Nobody ever even thought about MJ being tired. That would have been blasphemous." Some people on social media pulled up this column that Skip wrote for the Chicago Tribune in 1998 after Jordan and the Bulls lost Game 5 of the Finals to the Jazz. Skip wrote, "This will be remembered as the night Michael was mortal. This was his night, his game, his fourth quarter, and Michael Jordan got tired. The number 23 tried, and number 23 failed. With the world waiting to watch him puff his victory cigar, he and his Bulls got smoked by Karl Malone." So, Skip, what's your response?
So, this all started, what do you got?
I got you those are Snickers. You're going to be a while. Yeah.
I don't get the Snickers reference.
Oh, yeah, don't worry about it. They get it.
Okay.
You're going to be a while. Joy.
I don't eat Snickers.
I thought you didn't eat candy either.
I don't either.
Do these
Well,
have
now
any,
everyone
these
knows
have any protein in them?
When you blame me for the candy being gone.
Oh, so
Where it
I'm
actually
going to
went.
let you have
Thank
these.
you.
Yeah, you're going to be a while, Skip.
Okay, so yesterday this started with your reference to Game 5, and you asked me what happened in Game 5, and I told you readily on the air yesterday, Michael Jordan failed spectacularly in the fourth quarter of Game 5 at the United Center in the 1998 Finals. Remember that? Mm-hmm. And remember, the Finals format in those years was 2-3-2.
Correct.
So that night in Game 5, I went to the United Center covering the Chicago Bulls, thinking that the corks were going to be popped by one Michael Jordan, because I thought the last thing that the Bulls wanted to do was to have to fly back to Utah for potentially Game 6 and Game 7. So all of Chicago, all of Bulls Nation was on hair trigger for Michael to do it in the fourth quarter. And I was shocked to sit back and watch, for the first time in all the years I watched Michael Jeffrey Jordan, he looked human in the fourth quarter. So in the lead to my column, my reference to got tired was a sarcastic reference to I was giving him the lame human excuse that all the human stars get for, they were tired in the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. Not once in the next 22 paragraphs of that column, you could go back and read it, did I ever reference getting tired again, because that was not the theme of the column. It was just a throwaway line in the lead of, he got tired like mortals get tired, because it was like, stop the presses. Michael finally looked human. At the end of the game, which they blew to the Utah Jazz, who they had down 3-1, Michael Jordan took the last second shot. Now, I went back and looked at it again this morning just to remind myself, it was high degree of difficulty. He took a little inbounds pass and had to turn off one leg and almost fall out of bounds. It was about a 30-foot shot.
Like that one LeBron hit last year in Washington?
Where he lucked it.
No, don't do that, Skip. Don't Skip. Was it a high degree of difficulty shot, yes or no?
You know what? It was just like that shot, except LeBron didn't call bank on that one. He did not call bank. You know it, and I know it.
Oh, yeah, he called it.
And Michael didn't call anything on this one, because I don't think it hit anything. I don't think it even smelled iron, because it had no chance. But I'm going to remind you, he played 45 minutes that night. He played every minute of the fourth quarter. Nobody talked about Michael being tired. It was just a throwaway line at the top of my column. Nobody was quoted about it. It was never a theme. And I'm going to reiterate to you, in all the years and time I was around Michael Jordan, nobody ever brought up anything about Michael being tired. Mm-hmm. He had played the most minutes in those playoffs. He had the highest usage rate in those playoffs. And I remind you again, Michael 6 times through his playoff runs led the whole playoffs in usage rate, the time you have the ball in your hands. Mm-hmm. LeBron's only done that 1 time. And I'm going to remind everyone that if you go back and look at my lead to my column off Game 6, remember, they didn't have 3 nights to get ready for Game 6. In those days, you had to go every other night. There was no 3 days rest between games.
Correct.
So they flew to Utah, and my lead was effectively off my Game 6 night column. Oh, that's what Game 5 was all about. He was setting us up for this. And this was a Game 6 in which he played 44 minutes, and he scored 45 of their 87 points. And he had 4 steals, including the late one off Karl Malone. If we could see that once again, because I'd love to see this. Thank you. Whoops, he stole it from Karl Malone. And, of course, he dribbles it all the way up the floor. And he did have a little push-off on Brian Russell, because that's the way the game was played at that point. And somewhere between...
Who's that behind Karl Malone?
Oh, that's Michael stealing the ball. He snaked him. And from just beyond the free throw line, he holds the pose. And that was the end, effectively, of Michael's career in Chicago. Wait a second. What a steal that was. Dennis Rodman's just standing there.
Don't do this again. Okay.
Yeah, so one of the blogs, I forget which one, yesterday tried to reach back for all these references to Michael being tired. And the first one they dredge up was 1992, after the Bulls had eliminated the Knicks in 7 games that were played more like football because Pat Riley was the coach. It was a 7-game slugfest. And in Game 7, Michael had 42 points in 42 minutes, and he admitted he was mentally fatigued. Is that being tired? That's just mentally fatigued.
Whoa, wait a minute.
But did he pull himself out of any of these games? No, he played them to the bitter end. And then there's some reference to Bulls Insider said Michael was just tired when he took that sort of year and a half, almost 2 years off. No, he wasn't just tired. The NBA forced him out because it was effectively a suspension, so there was no tired there. And then there was some reference that he asked Dean Smith for a little break from playing basketball because he'd been playing year-round. He didn't take himself out of games. He didn't say, I'm tired during the season. He just needed an off-season break from basketball. So I'm sorry, I don't know there's a constant theme, a constant narrative. LeBron's tired or LeBron needs to rest on defense. I never heard any of this with Michael Jordan. Sorry.
Somebody, article published June 19th, 1998. Headline, Table Set, but Jordan's Dropped the Knife by Skip Bayless. That you? Mm-hmm. You wrote that?
We just read that.
You wrote that?
I wrote the whole thing. 23 paragraphs.
Says,
by the way, I wrote 23 paragraphs in 20 minutes.
Well, you did?
Could you even type 23?
No, I can't type. Okay. It says he didn't draw iron, just ironing.
I said that. I just told you that. I just told you that.
Boy, you a lyricist. You have Skip drop that thing. He didn't draw iron, just ironing.
Skip has bars,
you know what? I reread this morning. It's pretty good.
That was good. It was good. Oh, okay. Hold on. Michael Jordan that night, he had 28 points. Skip, if you don't mind, because you did put that in there. Skip, you good. You know what? You should have been an editor, Skip. You really should have been, because you good with this thing.
I should have been a writer.
No, you need to be an editor. All this punctuation, how you tie it together.
Yep.
Michael shot the ball was 9 of 26.
9 of 26.
28 points. So
wait, help me out. How much help did he have that night?
Joe, it's funny that he asked, because there was a Croatian on his team named Tony Kukoc, who had 30 points on 13 shots and hit the three-pointer that got him within 1. I want to know, why was Tony Kukoc shooting the ball instead of Michael Jordan?
I have a question, Mr. Sharpe.
Yeah, go ahead. Ask me.
Can you explain to me what happened to the top 50, quote-unquote, player that you say Scottie Pippen is? What did he do in that game? Help me out.
I don't know.
2 for 16 was Scottie Pippen in that game.
Well,
what was the great Ron Harper? 1 for 6. Wait a second. What about the Hall of Famer Dennis Rodman? What did he have in this game?
What did he have, Skip?
He had 3 points and 4 rebounds coming off the bench in this game.
Why he come off the bench?
Because he was kind of on his last legs at that point and didn't have that much to do with the 98 championship run.
Oh, I'm trying to figure out. Now, you said Scottie Pippen was the top, but, I mean, in your article, now, you wrote this, I think. Is it you, Skip Bayless? Okay, because they got your name, Skip Bayless. He and his man, Scottie Pippen, was colder than the champagne chilling over all Chicago's. These 2, what 2 mean, Joey? Is that 1 plus 1? So I guess it means 2. That means Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan, these 2 went from battling for finals MVP to vying to least valuable shots missed. Huh? So you mean to tell me up until that point in time, Scottie Pippen was battling Michael Jordan for the MVP. Skip, you wrote this article, right? Did you write this?
Yep. And then what happened in Game 6?
Skip, I just asked you a question.
Okay, but who was the MVP?
I'm going to get the game.
When the game was on the line in Game 6, Scottie Pippen managed to score 8 points, and Michael scored 45.
Can you tell the people at home how many
Yikes.
shots it took him to get those 45?
Woo. Does it matter? Does anybody care? What will history say? 45 of the 87 points were scored by the MVP of the 1998 finals.
I sure wish LeBron took 39 shots. I mean, he had 45.
You know what?
He had six more
In Game
points
2,
than shots.
I wish he had taken 39 shots.
No.
Remember what he did in 2015 in Game 2? He took 39 shots. Did he not?
But you see what? But he also had what? Like 16 rebounds and 9 assists. So if Jordan gonna do that, okay. If he gonna pull that kind of workload, I got no problem. But I want to know, Tony Kukoc, why were they passing the ball to Tony Kukoc? Why was he shooting when you got Michael Jordan on that team? Why would Michael Jordan never pass the ball to Tony Kukoc? Because LeBron,
he's like Kyle Korver. Sometimes when he's hot, you give him the ball. LeBron, does he not kick the ball to snipers?
Yeah, that's what happened. So as long as you make the right play, it's okay, right?
Well,
Because you say that, Skip. I mean, Skip,
some nights LeBron doesn't have a hot hand. This was, again, you have to understand the perspective of that piece. That's the only time I ever saw this guy be mortal in all the playoff games I covered. He looked like a human in the fourth quarter. He didn't get tired. He played the whole 12 minutes. He didn't wave to Phil, say, I got to come out.
In Game 6 of the Supersonics, you didn't think he looked tired to you?
Game 6?
Yeah, when he shot 3-18, when he was 6-18.
Yeah, didn't look tired.
He didn't look tired?
No.
He was just
looked
bad.
off.
Oh, okay.
Was that a close series? I don't remember that being. Who won that game?
4-2. Yeah, y'all won that one.
Yeah.
But Skip, you did some good work here.
Yep.
Oh, Skip.
Yep.
Let's
bring it back to the present. So why is it that night after night after night, I have to live with this narrative of, boy, LeBron could be tired tonight. Tired? He's the fittest athlete on the planet. And yet you constantly tell me he's got to rest on defense. Really?
If you don't mind,
Michael was on first team all defense that year.
You tell me about that Game 7 that he played against the Knicks, in which he played 44 minutes.
Yeah.
Can you tell the people at home how many minutes he played against the Celtics in Game 7?
Which Celtics?
Game 7 this year to get to the finals.
Oh, Game 7.
Yeah.
LeBron?
Yeah.
Oh, he was great in Game 7.
No, how many minutes he played?
Yeah. Well, how many did you play in Game 5?
All of them.
Do you remember Game 5?
All of them.
Do you remember Game 5?
They got blown out.
He kept waving to Ty, take me out. I'm tired.
You
You're
never get
tired
blown
in
out?
Game 5?
And what did he do Game 6?
Played well.
Is
He's
it?
LeBron James.
Oh, whoa.
He should dominate.
Well,
They should have ended the Celtics in
Don't do
5.
that.
You know it,
Don't
and I know
Don't
it.
do that, Skip. Don't do that. Because see what you did now? Now, you said Michael had an off night. He looked human, and then he bounced back in Game 6, and he ended it.
And guess what? I think his Game 6 was the greatest game he ever played.
And now,
That's pretty great.
Now, we look back at LeBron, okay, he bounced back in Game 6 and Game 7. I need you to give some credit. I need you to write another article.
What I need LeBron to do,
What?
I'll write an article about this.
What?
If he bounces back and has his greatest game ever in Game 3 to get them back in the series, and then caps it off with a Game 4, and we go back 2-2 to Oakland.
Well, I tell you what, you can be able to write that article. Is JR, what JR is going to do?
Maybe what Scotty did, 2 for 16.
No. He gonna leave the Girl Scout cookies alone? Well, I can't tell.
know.
Look at the man eye. Look at the man. Draymond done tried to blind the man.
Well, he should.
I'm surprised you didn't say that was a contact.
Contact lens?
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't say it was a contact.
What's he going to do? Is he just going to quit?
No,
maybe
he
he
don't
should
quit.
just retire.
I'm gonna drop that hammer on him.
All right. Well, that's what Michael did the next game.
Goat
He dropped
mask.
it all time.
Guaranteed.
I'm waiting.
Yep.
But we got the GOAT coming up right here.
Coming up, the one and only Ice Cube is here. We'll talk about the Big Three, the
hey,
NBA
you.
Finals,
Look at this
and
man.
more next.
No mercy.
The Big Three season starts here June 22nd on FS1, and we're joined by Ice Cube. Welcome back to Undisputed.
Thanks for having me.
So good to have you. What are you most excited for the new Big Three season?
All the competition. You know, guys, last year they really didn't know what to expect. This year they know. You know, a lot of guys stayed away because they knew what to expect. So it's cool just to see guys, you know, show up to the combine in shape, ready to go, understanding the game. And, you know, we have Trilogy, you know, repeating with their same roster pretty much to try to repeat as champs. So we have a standard for the other teams to try to you know, uphold to. So it's great for the league. You know, it's moving in the right direction.
You know, this is a small sample size, but everywhere I go, I swear somebody asks me about the big three, like it's gaining momentum, legs, buzz. My wife asked me, Ernestine asked me the other day, could we go to a big three? I said, you really want? Yeah. She said, those are my guys.
That's what it's all about, you know what I mean? I can get her tickets.
Hook me up.
Yeah, I can definitely get her tickets. But that's what it's all about. You know, the guys that we've grown to love, guys that we've invested years into, you know, watching them play. And just because they can't play on the NBA level, you know, 82 games, I don't know who can play
Don't tell
82
Steven
games.
Jackson that. 'Cause he still says he could contribute.
I think so. You know, he's in good shape, and he definitely goes hard, sets the tone for our league. And so, you know, these are our guys. You know, why throw them away because they can't make an NBA roster when these guys still can play, still compete at a high level. And 3-on-3 is gaining momentum throughout the world.
I'm looking at, you have Amari Stoudemire. Now, he's going to play in the league. He has hopes of going back to the NBA. He says he thinks he can make a return to the NBA. Carlos Boozer was an all-star. Baron Davis, Metta World Peace. So the names are getting even more and more familiar.
No doubt, you know, and as the league continues to grow, you'll see guys, you know, stepping straight off the NBA, you know, courts onto the big three courts, and guys who want to get back to the NBA using the big three as a way to get, you know, scouts to check them out. And you know, going overseas is kind of tough because you never know who's watching. But, you know, playing, you know, right here on FS1 in front of your home fans, you know, guys can really see what you got and maybe get invited to a camp. You never know.
So let's bring it back to what's going on right now. NBA Finals, Game 3 tomorrow night at Cleveland.
Yes.
What shot do you give the Cavaliers to climb back into this?
Give them a good shot. You know, they playing at home. They kind of should have expected to be down 2-0. You know, that game one was a great game, but, you know, nobody expected them to be in that position. So, you know, they got to kind of lick their wounds and say, look, they handle business at home. Let's go handle business in Cleveland. And with that crowd and with how, you know, they've been playing at home throughout the playoffs, I think they can pull it out.
I didn't expect JR to do what he did. That's what I didn't expect. I expected Bron to be great because he the GOAT. GOAT James is going to do GOAT things. But what about JR? Who shot JR?
Oh, man.
Tell me that.
Well, you know, everybody makes mistakes.
Not that kind of mistake on that stage.
Yeah, they do. And
You ever dropped the mic? No, you
yeah,
didn't.
I've dropped the mic.
Not
It
accidentally.
was a cord mic, and I stepped on it and it came out my hand. But I picked it up and kept on going. But, you know, I think at that point, you know, when you have something like that happen at that moment, what you're looking for and what really I didn't really see happen was nobody put their arm around JR. Nobody pat him on the head. Nobody say, hey, man, look, it happened. Let's go. Next play. Let's get – because you still have time to win that game. That didn't lose you the game. That just made the game go to overtime. You never know. He could have shot. He could have missed. Kevin Durant could have got up under him. You never know what could have happened. Or he could have passed it out to LeBron, and he could have missed the shot.
LeBron wasn't missing.
But listen, you know, you still had time, and – you know, to me, that's the reason why I believe the Cavs will not win the championship because they're just not a cohesive unit yet. You know, so many changes throughout the season, and you look at Golden State with all those name players, all those all-stars, they still can play as a unit, still move the ball, play as a team. That's why I believe they'll win the
They
championship.
just got better players than Cleveland. How about that?
I mean, that helps too.
Yeah, it does help. You talk about put your
Hey,
arm
man, don't
around-
be having no attitude
Yeah,
with
I
me,
got
man.
attitude.
Don't have no attitude with me.
Come on.
Every time I come up here, you trying to, you know, get on my good side with that silver and black you wearing, but you ain't.
But y'all ain't going to win no games.
You
But I
ain't.
never hear no
Your
games.
black rose and everything, it ain't going to happen, man.
Here's
Polka dots, I don't
get-
care about none of that.
Cube, I get what you're saying. You know, put your arm around JR. But you know, at that point in time, you want to put the mitts on JR. You know,
You might want to put the mitts on JR, but that ain't what can win you the game, you know.
he already done blew the game.
Tap on the head, you know.
Fire on him.
Yeah. Just showing that everybody's watching. So somebody got to show, look, we still a team. Not that we are fragmented and, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever, even though it was. Somebody got to still show that we're a team and we can still win this game.
You need to listen to the wisdom being spouted by this man,
I'm
because
older
we
than you.
talked about this earlier in the show. We saw the extended video of LeBron sitting on the bench during the timeout ahead of the overtime. And it appeared to me LeBron just shut it down. He just said, I can't get over that. We can't beat that. That we got beat internally, and he just basically threw in the psychological towel in the huddle. He wouldn't associate with his teammates. There's a way to try to save JR. Just put your hands on his shoulders and say, snap out of it. You're going to make me one big shot in this overtime. We got a chance. It's nothing to nothing. They got to where they wanted to be. Overtime, game 1 at Oracle, he had already scored 49. Go score 10 more. And instead, LeBron did not take a shot for the first 2 minutes and 26 seconds of overtime, and they were down 7 at that point, and then he went 0 for 4. Well, he'd thrown in that towel, and I get it because it was a crushing into the regulation.
Yeah.
It was crushing, but you still have a shot because that other team is not sure of itself. Steph Curry scored 0 in overtime. Durant scored 2 in overtime. They were struggling down the stretch to finish the game. The team with the chance to win at the end of regulation was the Cavaliers.
Yes.
LeBron's got the ball in his hands. Then George Hill's got 2 free throws. And then JR's got the ball in his hands. Right?
Yes, no doubt. You got to rally the troops. You still have a chance to win the game. It's still 5 minutes left, and you still can do this. And if you do it, all's not forgotten with JR, but it's a better feeling. So, that to me is the reason why the Cavs won't win the championship. And it's not, down in LeBron or the team. It's just they haven't been able to come together as a unit to be able to fight through those moments.
You remember you growing up and you were trying to make one of them old hot 8 tracks, trying to make one of them good old tapes. And
8 tracks?
Yeah, you get that thing recorded
I don't
good.
know nothing about 8 tracks. Cassette tapes.
And the thing is, you record, you trying to get that, you're gonna drop that thing good.
Yeah.
And then maybe your sister slam the door. And that's gonna be on the cassette.
Yeah.
Or maybe you hear the dishes or somebody start talking. Like, come on.
Yeah, you mad at the moment, but I'ma still finish the song.
Nah, I ain't.
You know what I mean? I ain't gonna be like, oh, it's over, turn it off, man. Turn off the equipment, unplug everything, let's go.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm gonna go finish the song, and I can always cuss her out later.
But see, you can't. But see, you can edit those parts out. LeBron couldn't edit this out.
Well, it was still time to win the game. It's still time to win the game. You got 5 minutes to play. Like you said, the Warriors wasn't really, putting the nail in the coffin. They wasn't
Clay
really
was.
finishing.
Clay dropped 10 on them. Quick.
Clay he's awesome. But the Cavs still had a chance to win the game. And you got to rally the troops. If not, you might as well not even play overtime.
Well, I know
So
we don't have no chance.
you give the Cavs a good shot in game 3 at least to make it respectable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Game 3 is
Respectable.
their shot.
You're respectable.
Well-
no respect. We winning.
Man, watch your tone, man.
Bet something. Bet something on that we win in game 3
I bet you that little flower on your chest.
Bet it then. Bet it then.
Flower on your chest.
You want to bet who wins the whole thing?
No, I ain't betting that just yet. We go game by game. We go game by game.
I'm saying the Cavaliers gonna win. What are you talking? What are we betting?
No, you betting. I said they're gonna win game 3. You said they ain't gonna win game 3.
Didn't I just say they gonna win game 3?
Well, what we betting then?
That flower, man. I'm trying to get it off you.
Look. I'm sorry that your teams are not gonna be very successful. I'm sorry.
What are you talking about?
The Raiders.
Ain't nobody asked for no apology from you.
I'm sorry. I know it's painful. You're going to feel like LeBron felt the other night.
Man, that sound like horse. You know what?
Yeah. Y'all win 5 games this year.
You want to see LeBron on the Lakers next year?
I mean, who wouldn't want LeBron?
We ain't coming.
Who wouldn't want LeBron? We ain't coming. You can't say no to that. That's amazing player that, probably can definitely get you to the finals. But our team
You got a lot of young, good players, man.
We do, and I'm happy with that. I'm happy, climbing the mountain. If we got to climb with what we got, I'm happy with that.
Y'all ain't beating the Warriors anytime soon unless y'all get a Bron. Just so you know that.
Listen.
Now, you need to be nice to me because I know Bron like that.
Listen, man, I ain't worried about you or that. You know what I mean? We still got some work to do in the Lakers
lot of work.
organization. Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with a lot of work.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with hard work.
I mean, come on. I mean, you used to the championships in the 80s and Magic and
We
Kobe.
still
Shaq.
full. We still full, man. That meal ain't digest yet.
Yeah, come on now. You can't get to live off the
We
championship
still
from 10
full.
years ago, Q.
Watch me.
Cube is staying with us. Who gets his vote for the greatest of all time? We'll discuss that next.
No mercy.
Ice Cube is still with us. The new Big Three season tips off June 22nd here on FS1. All right, Cube. We need to get your take on the biggest debate in sports right now. Who is the GOAT? Who's the greatest of all time, LeBron or Jordan?
Are we gonna have this conversation again?
Again.
Be truthful.
I mean, the greatest of all. Let's kill the GOAT. Can we kill the GOAT? The greatest of all time cannot be measured. That's a long time.
Okay.
And it's a long time into the future that we can't even see. So between these two, who's the greatest player? I mean, who knows? You know, they haven't played against each other. But who would I rather have on my team?
Speak carefully.
Michael Jordan.
Thank you.
Michael Jordan.
Game over. Case
And-
closed.
and it's-
Next question.
It has nothing to do with numbers.
Has to do with shoes.
Has nothing to do with shoes.
Yeah,
No.
because you grew up wearing his shoes and watching him.
I mean, you know, he does make some great shoes.
Yeah, you were influential back then.
But, no, he's a great player and, you know, to me would accept all challenges. And, you know, sometimes I don't see that. And, you know, I don't see, you know, LeBron pointing across saying, I'm locking you down today,
Yep.
not you.
Yep.
And, you know, I think Jordan had a lot of that, of who am I going against tonight? Nah.
He ain't locked Bird down.
Well, can't lock
who
some
did?
people down. Some
Yeah.
people are unlockable. But I'm just saying, that's the player I would rather start my franchise.
Do you remember in '91? You remember the '91 finals against your Lakers? You love the Lakers, right?
Yes, I do.
When Magic put that triple dub on him and they beat him in the old Chicago Stadium, and then after that they switched to Scottie Pippen. You remember that, right?
I remember Lakers lost the series.
Yeah,
They did.
because Magic was on fumes. James Worthy was on fumes. You know it.
Magic wasn't on no fumes.
The man had been to almost 10 finals.
He wasn't on no fumes.
Stop it, Q. Now you know
He's
better.
been going to finals ever since he was in
Exactly.
the league. So
That's my
you mean you on fumes after your 12th year?
And going to the finals every year? Absolutely, because you playing in June. Them other jokers done in April.
No.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say Magic was on fumes.
Magic was on fumes.
No.
He had already tweaked his head. Remember the year before? against
Are
the
we
Pistons?
talking about LeBron and Jordan? We're not talking
I
about
got LeBron.
Leave
I
Magic
got
out of it.
James.
You got Go James?
Go.
Boy, you
James.
switched fast, didn't you?
No
What
problem.
you mean?
I'm kidding.
Yeah, go James. I mean, you see his resume? You see his
I know
body
who you
work?
got. I'm
Yeah.
not worried about that.
Yeah. First team All NBA. 12 times. You know how many other players have been 12 times first team All NBA? He the only one. You know when you in a room.
It's a whole
and you-
different NBA.
Don't do this.
It's a different NBA than
Don't do this.
than
Don't do this.
Michael Jordan had to play in.
Don't do
Different NBA.
Yeah, the athletes
Michael
are
Jordan
better.
got all his points, most of his points, twos. Same with Kareem. Why he ain't up there? Why Kareem ain't up here? What's going on, man?
I like Kareem too. I think
So,
Kareem
it's
should be
like-
like 2.
Let's,
You know who number 1. So Kareem 2. GOAT 1.
Shannon Sharpe.
Yes.
Once again, our man Cube just gave you the essence of this debate. One man, Michael Jeffrey Jordan, was a basketball assassin. The other guy, LeBron James, is a really nice man. That's what he is. He's a really nice man who's really gifted. That's it. That just sums it up.
The end result
One
is
guy,
the same.
No, the end result is not the same because one guy went 6-0 in the finals with 6 MVPs because he was a basketball killer. He refused to lose. Whatever it took, he took out on the opposition night after night. And look, he won 10 scoring titles to LeBron's 1 scoring title.
LeBron ain't trying this. LeBron don't score them points like
Okay? But he made first team all defense. Michael Jordan did 9 times to LeBron's 6. And Michael made it at age 34, a year older than LeBron. In the last couple of years, LeBron just said, I can't play defense anymore.
I
I'm
would've-
carrying too big a load.
Had Jordan gotten to the 87, 88 finals against that Laker team and took them down, I ain't got nothing to talk about. But they were playing finals in the 80s. They were.
Well, Jordan's East was a lot stronger than LeBron's East. Jordan's East, he had to go through a lot tougher opponents. Actually, the powerhouses were in the East when Jordan played, and they're not in the East when LeBron
Tougher
plays.
doesn't mean they were better. Because the Knicks, the Knicks had one Hall of Famer.
We talking about the Knicks? I'm not talking about the Knicks. I'm talking about the
Pacers had
Celtics.
two.
I'm talking about Pistons.
But if he's that guy, if he's the GOAT, he got to take them down. Because that's what you're asking
He
LeBron
did.
to do.
He did.
You're asking LeBron to beat the Warriors.
He did take him down.
He didn't. They got old. No, age took him down. Okay. The only hump he got over was
what
on
does Jordan got to do with that?
But that's what I'm saying. The only hump Jordan got over in the East was the humps in Larry Bird and Kevin McHale's back. They got old. He couldn't beat them in their prime.
Well,
Over. Stopped him out.
we could say that about the Spurs with LeBron. We could say that about the Warriors too.
4 Hall of Famers.
Hey.
4 Hall of Famers. The most Jordan has ever beaten was 2.
Shannon,
He ought to be shaming himself.
LeBron's team has been favored to win the East each of the last 8 years.
What about the
favored
finals?
each of the
What
last
about the
8
finals?
years.
How many times have been favored to win the finals?
Well, how many times has he won it?
Twice. How many times was Jordan favored to win the finals? He was always the favorite. So what's the upset? Where's the upset of that?
I'm not sure he was always.
Being the favorite and going out there and winning it is two different things, man.
What?
Being the favorite don't mean nothing.
It does.
It don't mean nothing.
You got home
You
court.
gotta go out there and win it. Somebody go out there and get hurt, and you're not the favorite no more.
Like Kyrie and Kevin Love did?
So, hey, it happens. It happens.
You know what,
and it was no guarantee they was gonna win that finals with them healthy.
Oh, it's guaranteed.
I
think guaranteed.
So,
you know good and well they weren't gonna beat them. With Kyrie and Kevin Love, they had to go call Kevin Durant.
They beat them already.
Yeah. What happened when they were 73-9 and Draymond was still in a tower crying?
Well, if Draymond didn't get suspended for those games,
No, don't put no S on that. Game
5.
Game 5.
Okay, what happened in game 6 and 7?
The Cavs do have a championship, man. What are you talking about? What are you going over stuff that you already know?
I'm just asking you a question. You talking about Draymond got suspended for games. He got suspended for a game.
Snatch that.
Leave my flower alone.
I'm getting that flower off you, man.
Shannon, do you ever remember Michael Jordan melting down the way LeBron did in the 2011 finals? I've never seen anything like that before.
It happened. It happened.
Yeah.
Man, leave LeBron alone, man. He got enough
He the
problems.
GOAT. He ain't got no problem.
I need you to speak for him, man. He got enough issues.
You know what? The only problem he got is there's nothing that this 40-point triple-double, 40, 15, and 15 won't handle.
Yeah, that's right. I think he's been playing great, I think he's actually could be the MVP of the finals.
He could be.
If he
That's what
win a
do.
game and
He gonna win some games.
and
Like 4 of them.
score like he's been, man. It's a
Like
great
4
player.
games.
He's a great player.
GOAT James do GOAT
And he don't
things.
need you to
GOAT
talk for him.
James do GOAT things. That's what I think about that. Now, see, all this, now you know he watches this show. Now, how can he come put on that goal when you talking blasphemous about it?
I ain't talking nothing
Yeah,
about
you're
it.
talking about it.
Oh, man, he put on that goat. I'm going to love him like
No.
a brother.
Yeah, I bet you will. Look, you see what he did, that virtuoso, and JR ruined it.
Hush.
JR ruined it
Are
for
you
us.
sticking with your prediction? I want to know.
Yep.
You got Cavs in 7?
Cavs in 7.
Yep. All right.
I want them cufflinks too, man. What else can I get off you?
Cute. Thanks so much for joining us. Coming up, Terrell Owens is here. Is he
got it.
really planning an NFL comeback? We'll ask him next.
Here we go.
No mercy.
Our next guest will be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in August. Terrell Owens, welcome back to Undisputed.
Thanks for having me.
But that Gio had a head full of hair.
I got hair, man. I just keep it low. You know what I mean? You sound like my son, man. You just getting on me.
By the way, congratulations on the Hall of Fame.
Appreciate it. Thanks
You got
so much.
it.
Yes, congrats. Let's show a tweet that you sent to 49ers GM John Lynch over the weekend. You wrote,
yeah.
I know Jimmy G is going to need a big play receiver this year at some point. Let's make it happen. Hashtag stay ready. Hashtag vetmin.
That's right.
So how serious are you about playing in the NFL?
Well, you
again?
know what? Why not? I mean, if the opportunity arises, for me, everybody has seen that I'm in still great shape. I've been training with a number of guys from Julio Jones and Ross Travis, Kelvin, Travis, Kelsey over the summer break. And so for me, it's just a matter of, like I said, if the opportunity arises, then I will entertain it. But am I actively seeking? No, but I'm always going to be engaged on social media. Everybody has seen really the shape that I'm in. Still got it. It's not a reason why I can't play.
T.O.
Oh,
Being
my
it,
gosh.
being real, you all T.O. You gonna be 70 and be abbed up.
No.
Being in shape and being able to take a football hit after 10 years.
Why can't I take a hit?
You can take a hit, but can you get up from those hits?
Absolutely. I'm built for this.
T.O., you ain't played football in a decade.
I'm built for tough. I'm from Alabama.
I
man.
know where you from.
All right, then. Well, you should already know. You should already know. I'm not like everybody else.
Oh, I know. You would. But here's the thing. Let me ask you a question. What makes you think someone would call you?
I'm not saying that they would.
Okay.
Like I said,
But
if the opportunity arises, like I said, am I actively seeking? No, but I'm always going to be engaged with my fans on social media. So again, people have seen me work out.
Right.
You know what I mean? They see that I can still do it.
Can you practice training camp? Can you practice day in and day out?
Dude, I'm a veteran, so like I said, under the right circumstances, yeah.
So you would need a day out, okay.
Well, a coach would understand, like,
Right.
okay, I'm of age, so
Right.
okay, give me a breather here and there.
Right.
So,
Okay.
yeah,
Terrell,
take care of me.
This is where my man Shannon Sharpe and I part ways. I am on your side on this one. I do believe
Really?
nobody stays in better shape than this man. And by the way, there's this team down in Dallas called the Cowboys.
Oh, my God.
And right now, we don't even have a number 1 or a number 2. I'm not even sure we have a number 3 receiver right now. You know that, and I know
Y'all got
that.
a bunch of number 2s.
We got maybe a bunch of number 3s. And seriously, age to me is just a number. You're 44, it doesn't matter.
Right.
It just doesn't matter. Can you play right now? I believe you could play. Could you stay healthy? I don't know for sure. Could you survive those hits? Probably you could.
Right.
Let's just do hypothetically. The Dallas Cowboys say, we're going to bring you in. Your role will be somewhat limited.
Right.
You're going to catch, I don't know, your last year at Cincinnati, you caught 72 balls. What if you caught 30 or 40 balls for the Dallas Cowboys? Is that realistic?
Yeah, you
yes.
put them in a situation to get into the playoffs and
Yeah.
opportunity to win a championship. Absolutely.
Can you catch balls out of the slot? Can you run slot routes? That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to make your point for you.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Check my
Yes.
resume. Check my tape.
But
Yes.
here's the thing, though, Skip.
Yes.
There's somebody that coaches the Cowboys.
Jerry Jones?
I don't know why he went. I don't know why he started there.
of all the
of all the teams.
Crying need. It's just like it's glaring. It's screaming for somebody.
Why not start with a coach that I went to the Super Bowl with?
I just remembered.
Andy Reid.
Yeah.
Wait, I just
Kansas
remembered
City.
what you recently said about Jason Garrett, so that would be a problem, maybe. But
So, yeah.
whatever. I don't even care. You can make peace. You can go forward.
I mean, I can coexist with anybody.
Yeah.
I didn't have an issue until I got released, and so other than that, man, I was working in harmony. You know what I mean? Obviously, there's ups and downs. Like you said, people go through certain situations, but my role on that team, like I said, I was trying to be a leader. Understanding some of the things that happened, elsewhere. So,
Okay, was Des Bryant not a disaster last year? He led the NFL in drops. Do I think he could be almost as effective in the ballpark with what Des did for that team? I do. I honestly do.
You can't do worse.
Well, who could?
I mean, Dez's situation, again, obviously, we don't know why his production dipped. I mean, obviously, injury has played
I
a big
think
part
so.
in that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then, again, you talk about the offensive coordinator, you think about the head coach, they see him on an everyday basis. So they are able to assess what he can and cannot do.
Right.
So those injuries that he's had, those are part of the reasons why he weren't as productive.
Right. So, but here's the thing, though. When you look at and I've said you're one of the few big receivers that could run the route tree.
Right.
And you came into a system in the West Coast, you had to be able to play different. You had to play Z, you had to be able to play X, you had to play in the slot.
Right.
So you had to do a lot of different things. So you had to learn the route tree. And I feel what inhibited Dez is Dez didn't learn the route tree. Dez only plays X receiver. He only plays on the ball.
Well, that's not Dez's fault.
Okay.
That's the offensive coordinator's fault. Those are the people that put him in position to be able to succeed.
Right.
So again, they've been able to see what Dez was able to do the time that he's been in Dallas.
Right.
So again, like you said, the packages, zebra, eagle, learning wide in the slot, outside.
Tiger, far double wing.
Exactly. So those are plays and formations that they're able to put Dez in, but obviously limited playing time because of the injuries plagued him, and everybody has seen his dip in production over the last 3 years. Everybody know he has big playability, but he wasn't able to enhance on that because, like I said, I don't even think he had a veteran in that locker room to help him along.
Right.
Let's go back to the Hall of Fame. The night you were chosen to be in the Hall of Fame at the Super Bowl, Shannon was there. You did not show up for that night that you were
I had a
chosen.
basketball game.
Okay. You weren't making a statement of any kind because they kept you out for, what was it, a couple of years?
3 years.
Three years.
Took
yeah.
3 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always, made my point about the situation. I think I've been treated unfairly based on the process, and you talked about the bylaws, the criteria in which guys are, nominated and ultimately inducted. Obviously, there's been hoops and loops that I had to jump to get in based on my statistics. I mean,
Well, they changed the bylaws to keep you out.
Right, exactly. So to keep me out based on hearsay and
Okay.
all these other things, I didn't really take too kind to that.
I got it.
Other than that, I mean, I'm in now.
But you were the only entrainee who didn't show up, and I had no problem with that. Were you making a statement like, I'm not going to go along with this because you were hard on me?
Right. I did it the first 2 years because
did.
statistically, where I stand, I should have been in. If not the first time, okay. If you want to make a point, you made it.
Okay.
The second time,
Yep.
come on.
There should have been no point made. You look at this. His number says, if there is such thing as a first ballot, he's it.
Right.
He and Randy were the best receivers of their generation. He's one of the 3 men that ever can say, you know what? I've been a first team All-Pro on 3 different teams. Forget there are a lot of guys in the Pro Football Hall of Fame that did worse things than what
Okay.
T.O. If you want to say him,
So-
the Randy on the sideline, but they're worse.
But that's the thing.
Fast forward.
Okay.
Can you put all that behind you and embrace this event that's about what?
I mean,
what
I've
is it, August,
already embraced it. I think I'm using this moment to really share with the people that have sacrificed for me to be and do what I've done. You think about where I came from, Alexander City, Alabama, small town. I guarantee you, my coaches, they're very proud of me, but nobody thought I was going to come out of there and be a Hall of Famer as I sit here today. When I went to UT Chattanooga, they afforded me an opportunity, number one, to get an education. I played football and basketball there, ran a year of track. So again, nobody thought that I would be sitting here a
Yep.
Hall of Famer. So I realized what I did on that football field, I earned it. Nobody gave it to me. So I felt ultimately disrespected. I wasn't disappointed because, like you said, my stats spoke very, very loudly. You can put all the other stuff to the side. Like I said, because somebody feels a certain way about me, that shouldn't be a reason why you can't induct me and give me what I deserve, what I rightfully earned.
Go ahead, Skip.
No, that's okay. You chose to present for you George Stewart.
George Stewart, yeah, he was my receiver coach after Larry Kirksey transitioned. George Stewart was my special teams coach for 3 years
In
San Francisco.
right?
So he understood. He saw me. I mean, on an everyday basis. This guy basically he knew that he saw some potential in me. Every time we went on the road, he would pull me to the side as he saw me progress year to year. He goes, "Dude, you're going to be something special," and I believed in him, and he believed in me. And so when he took over that receiver position, he allowed me to be who I was as a person. Because despite what everybody has said about me as far as, me being arrogant and cocky, when I played on that football field, that's how I was. But off the field, that's not who I am.
Have you made peace with some of the guys that you've been in Dallas, you San Francisco, Philly. Have you made peace, say, with Donovan, with Jason Witten, with any of the guys that...
I haven't talked to any of those guys. None of those guys have reached out to me. And
None of them said congratulations?
No.
What?
I'm not mad about it, but it is what it is.
In Dallas, do you feel like Jason, as the offensive coordinator, was behind the scenes, pulling some strings or doing some things that you didn't think was on the up and up? What happened? What transpired between you and Jason Garrett?
There's no reason why. I still have no answers. I just had finished a 3-year deal there. Right. I had just signed a 4-year extension.
Right.
And I go into the offseason. I had a call with Jerry Jones. He asked me, this is before they built Jerry's World. The next year we go into the big stadium.
Right.
He called me and asked me, he goes, what do we need to do to get to that next level? I thought we were talking as owner, player. I thought we were having a conversation as to let's see how we can make this right, how we can make a big splash in Jerry World. I mean, after that call, I thought I was solid.
Right.
Maybe a month or so later, I'm down in Miami. He's there for a meeting in Fort Lauderdale. They called myself and my agent to the hotel, and that's when they basically he did what he did. You drew a line on the table, put everything Cowboys related on one side, put T.O. on this side, and he drew a line and he said, we're parting ways. That's how I got cut. That's how I got cut. I don't have an answer as to why. So when you think about why, to me, there had to be somebody and someone that ultimately led to my departure.
Because you had just come off a 1,000-yard season.
Dude, there's like we talked about this the other time.
We did.
The sheet that was filed to the league, it said that it was production based, not anything conduct detrimental, none of that. They had a number of boxes to check, but they said it was production based. So I knew that it had to be coaches and some players that were behind the scenes saying, "Oh, I can't play with this guy." But why? Because I was being productive. I was trying to do things behind the scenes in an organization where we could progress because we weren't doing anything.
But see, you are, how do I say, you are a loner, and I think the biggest misconception about you, T.O., and the bit I've been around you is that what they see on television, they think that's how you are off TV.
The field.
But you're really quiet, you're really reserved, you're really to yourself.
Right.
And
that's how I was raised. I'm a product of my environment. And so again, that's how I've always been able to be successful, no matter what the turmoil or situations or encounters are around me. You know, I always put my faith in the man above. And when I used to listen to Skip and all these other guys say this and that and the other, I knew that it wasn't true. But if I went out there and played bad, that was going to validate what they said.
Right.
So that's why I went out there and I played with a coat of armor on me, man. I just went out there and just played because I knew everything that I did was under a microscope. But like I said, that's not who I am off the field. You've heard some of the greats say it. When they in between the lines, when it's competition, it's like a switch. And that's how I am. When I'm in between the lines, I'm a different animal.
So allow me to say this. You seem different today, good different. And you may not be able to see this or accept this, but I believe this is great for you because you feel validated. And I hope you can go up there and really embrace that whole weekend.
I feel validated how?
You have earned it. That you got in the Hall of Fame.
No, that doesn't validate me. I've always felt this way. You guys have seen me on an everyday basis. You know, like I said, you've always said, you know, I've divided the locker room 50-50. But you guys never took the narrative that I was a great guy based on the other guys that said that. You guys took the narrative that I was a bad guy, this and that and the other. That's what the world believes. That's the perception that the media has portrayed about me.
See, he won't let me say anything nice about it.
No,
I want to go back into
we gonna get it.
Does Des Bryant have anything left in the tank? We'll discuss that next.
No mercy.
Des Bryant was released by the Cowboys in early April, but he is still not signed with a new team. Dez's numbers have been down the last 3 seasons after having double-digit touchdown receptions the previous 3 years. We're joined once again by T.O., who played 3 seasons in Dallas. Do you think that Des will get signed?
I think he will. Again, even if it's a 1-year deal, at some point, again, as the season progresses, we approach the season, somebody will sign him. I have no doubt in that.
He had a 3-year deal, $21 million on the table for Baltimore, and he turned it down.
Well, I can't speak for
Yeah,
I'll take that.
Yeah, you're like, what was he thinking?
He was thinking that he wanted a 1-year deal to prove to the league he's still a big star, so he could get star money.
I don't know if that's the right approach to take. But again, to turn down money that's on the table, I think that's a little, crazy. But I think if that's his approach to try to prove himself, then he has to do what's best for him. And I've talked to Des, the best thing for him to do, like if health has been an issue as to why his production has dipped, then the best thing for him right now is to get himself in the best possible shape, get himself healthy, and prove himself. That's the only thing, that's the only way he can go out and really show people that he can still play at that Des Bryant level that we expect him to play at.
If you watch Des on tape, what do you think some of his strengths are? What are his weaknesses?
I think you look at the production. I think it's all about really the offense and how they utilize you. You don't really see him doing a lot of the over the middle routes. A lot of the routes have been outside some of the same things. And that's what I've been so critical about Jason and the Cowboys, because I saw that when I played. It's just like the year when we went 13-3, we caught everybody off guard. We were scoring left and right. And then teams had an offseason to really game plan us, and then our offense started to stifle a little bit. So you have to mix it up.
Right.
And so those are some of the issues that I had. And then, they felt like I was going against the grain, or I was, overstepping my boundaries, stepping on his toes. But like I said, that's me being a player because I'm in the mix. I understand the game. And so with Dez, I see some of those same things that were happening with me. They have to utilize him to his strengths. And injuries, like I said, if injuries are a reason why his production dipped, then that's one thing. But you have to be, as an offensive coordinator, put him in positions to where he can succeed and make plays.
Well, obviously, my issues with you were never in production and on-field production. Dez just lost it last year. He lost a step that he couldn't afford to lose, and then he lost his confidence because he couldn't catch anything. Led the league in drops. We just saw one, the Chris Harris Jr.
Harris Jr.
Just right. You just, after a while, you either can play and produce or you can't. And I think the league right now is sitting back saying, I don't know. The tape does not lie. And it doesn't tell you much about Dez last year.
Only Dez can answer a lot of these questions. Again, I think the thing for him is really just get in a situation, get on a team where he feels like he can flourish and really try to extend his career. But at right now, like you said, the tape doesn't lie. We've seen it the last few years, and I think the Cowboys feel justified in their release because of his lack of production.
Remember,
Plus they feel validated because nobody's picked him up. Because everybody,
well, he could have been picked up. He just turned it down.
I'm still shocked to this moment. Jerry Jones cut bait with Dez Bryant. He loved Dez like a son. You had a relationship with Jerry that was strong.
Right.
And you just told the story, but at some point, if Jerry says no, man.
But I think obviously it's Jerry's team. But then again, you have guys that, again, I feel has Jerry's ear at the same time. So again, like I said, I know some of what Dez had to go through, but a lot of why they departed ways was because of his production. If Jerry had the relationship that we all know that he has, and he's producing, I don't think we would be sitting here talking today.
No.
But like I said, a lot of it has to do with his production, and I think, again, Dez has to come to grips with that and understand that now he needs to get on the field and produce. So is he preparing himself to do that? Again, if I'm in a situation to go to Baltimore, like I said, when I left San Francisco and I had a chance to go to Baltimore, they didn't have a Joe Flacco though. That was why I didn't go to Baltimore. But if I'm in a situation like Dez, I'm taking that situation because they have a Super Bowl champion quarterback in Joe Flacco who can sling the ball.
It gets hard when you're a veteran receiver and they view you as basically a one-trick pony. They look at Dez and say he only runs in-breaking routes and it's 50-50 jump balls. T.O., when you move teams, you could run the comeback. You could run the speed out. You could run the bang 8. You could run the over. You could run the shake. You could run the... See, he's looking at me like, okay, you know what you're talking about.
Right.
But you don't see... I'm not saying... I haven't seen Dez in the last 4 years run a speed out.
Was he running those routes prior? That's the thing. They know what they had in Dez. So if he had certain routes that he was only running, then that's what they were doing with Dez.
They were having success with Tony throwing him jump balls. You know that.
Right, but
back
again,
shoulder
now
fades.
but now they have a new sheriff in town. Now they have Dak Prescott. He's a different quarterback.
Totally.
So Dez has to adjust his game.
Correct.
So he can't just rely on, because, Tony's not there anymore. So that's what I did. When I went from team to team and I played with quarterback to quarterback, I had to adjust my game with everybody. From Steve to Jeff Garcia. I mean, I played with Elvis Gerbach, Jeff Brum, Tim Rattay. You go Donovan McNabb, Kai, Detmer. I played with everybody. So I had to adjust my game accordingly.
Right.
And I had that fire to be the best that I could be. I learned a lot in San Francisco. That was the basis in which I became, from good to great. And so when you look at Dez, if he's only limited because of the routes that he's running, that's not Dez's fault.
Well, what do we do about that now, though? If that's all we've seen him run, how do we know he can do something else? It's hard to get a guy 29 years of age that we've only seen run in-breaking routes and jump balls to say, you know what? He can run the speed out. He can run the comeback. He can run the shake or the over route. How do teams convince themselves when they haven't seen this on tape in an extended period of time? How do they convince themselves that, yeah, he can do it?
I mean, they can bring him in for a workout. Again, if we haven't seen Dez run it, that's because the offense wasn't running it.
Yep.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you can't vilify him because we haven't seen it. Because like I said, if they're seeing it, if they're doing it in training camp, OTAs, and in practice, then they should be able to do it on the field on Sundays on game day. So they're allowing him to do what he does best. And if that's outside on the numbers, if that's jump balls where he's advantageous, then that's what they're doing. You can't vilify this guy because we haven't seen him do it.
Right.
They have to run it in practice. They have to do it.
So you recently said that you do not understand how Jason Garrett still has a job, and I'll be honest with you, I don't either. I've said that for about 3 years. I think a lot of people don't understand.
And I said that in perspective because you look at, I go to basketball, I think I love basketball. And you look at Dwayne Casey at the Toronto Raptors, Coach of the Year, 3 50-plus win seasons, playoffs every year. And
Couldn't
this guy,
beat LeBron.
And this guy has no job. Jason Garrett has nothing near those
With 3
accolades.
8-8s.
Near those accolades.
Yep.
And everybody has been the scapegoat every year.
But you're not surprised. You know why Jason Garrett still has a job. Because Jason Garrett is coaching title only. Jerry Jones is the coach. And any strong personality that's been there, Jimmy Johnson won. Think about this, T.O. Jimmy Johnson won back-to-back Super Bowls, and Jerry fired him. Bill Parcells said, you know what? I'm done. I'm out. Enough of this.
I've already said, I mean, that's Jerry's decision. I mean, if he wants to get those Cowboys to the next level, then there has to be a change. It can't be always players. It can't always be someone other than the head coach. Because the head coach takes on, and obviously these players take on the personality of the coach, the head coach. The head coach manages the game. You think about the game that they played against the Green Bay Packers, and there are some things that happened with that game. Rodgers came back and won that game. You can't put that on the players. And this now, nothing has happened since I left, and they said that I was the problem in 2009. What have they done since then? Nothing.
Skip, that's your team.
Well,
nothing. They haven't done anything.
Well, they had 2 good years. They had the one Romo year, the 12-4.
2014.
Yeah, 2014, and then they had the first Dak year.
But I look at those years too.
Yeah.
I guarantee if I'm on those teams,
Yeah.
Tony Romo's probably still playing. Guarantee you, because some of those issues, again, when you have a dynamic player such as myself, you implement them in the game plan. It takes a lot of stress off a quarterback that especially him being injury riddled, to make plays when you have a playmaker out there. You bring up Dez Bryant. We haven't seen him be that playmaker that we once was. So again, you put some guys in position to make plays, then some of those injuries and some of those they don't happen.
So what's the ceiling for this team coached by Jason Garrett this year?
I don't know if there's a ceiling. They might be the basement.
Okay, what's the base?
Oh,
The basement? I don't know because Jason Witten just retired.
He did.
Dez is gone.
Dez.
We just saw it. We just talked about it at the beginning of this. They have probably, I don't know, a bunch of number 2s or number 3s.
Well, they had an underwhelming draft, to say the least.
So I don't see them being the Patriots. I don't think they have the Patriots blueprint where they can just bring some guys in and make it happen.
I give you a choice to take one receiver in the NFL. You get one receiver, who you taking?
Ooh.
One.
One?
He's taking T.O.
Just one?
Just one.
I'm going to go either Antonio Brown or Julio Jones. And I say that because I've had a chance to work out with Julio. This dude is super this dude is super real. He's for real.
Is he bigger than you? He's maybe an inch taller than
No,
you?
I'm taller than he is.
Really?
Yeah, but
I thought he was 6'4".
He's a little thicker than T. He might be a little thicker than you.
He's like 230. Move like a cat. Move like a cat.
So can Antonio, though, boy.
No, Antonio Brown. Oh, awesome. Like you said, if I had to pick one, I'm going to go with Antonio Brown because he's been consistent. The only reason Julio hasn't been in the topic of conversation is because of some of the injuries.
Yeah.
But what he did this past year, it's a travesty too. to have 1,400 plus yards and 3 touchdowns. That cannot happen. They just went to the Super Bowl, a couple of years ago, and to not be in the conversation the next year or so, he was underutilized.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. Join us again same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.